new way. I'm gonna show you the tricks that I know. I'm getting tired of talking, and I need more of a show right now. It's time that you made your mind up, 'cause lately all it ever does is change. Feels like we're only talking, going round and around, back around. I will fight like no other every day. I won't stop like the others. I will stay. 'Cause now is the right time, and I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I know I can win right now. You got me up tonight, 'cause loving you is like I'm walking a tightrope so high. I won't be turning around, no, I won't be turning around. It's the right time, I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I will win tonight. I think I'll do it on my way. I'm gonna show you what I'm going through, get you out of your comfort zone, 'cause I need more of the truth right now. It's time that you made your mind up, 'cause lately all it ever does is change. Feels like we're only talking, going round and around, back around. I will fight like no other every day. I won't stop like the others. I will stay. 'Cause now is the right time, and I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I know I can win right now. You got me up tonight, 'cause loving you is like I'm walking a tightrope so high. I won't be turning around, no, I won't be turning around. It's the right time, I'm feeling alright. I'm playing your game like I will win tonight. Don't forget it, don't forget it, don't forget it. We'll turn this around. Don't forget it, don't forget it, don't forget it. We'll turn this around.
I'm sat in the studio. I'm not in a field flying a drone, and that's unfortunately because we don't have the weather. Unfortunately, we've been hit by an incoming rain belt, which means we're not going to do the live flight this moment, but it is still coming. What we're going to do is, after the rest of the content of this show, myself and Andrew over here, we're going to run over and record it for you all, because we have a section of sunshine coming in, which we're going to take full advantage of. And then we're actually going to play that out during the 6 o'clock live show for you all to still see the GVC. Now, I was actually going to have start this show from me actually stood in the field with the rain hammering down, but it was that heavy at one point that I don't think it would have even been safe to have the cameras out there, frankly. So we decided that we would run back, and it's been, can you see the sweat on my forehead? It has been a bit stressful, hasn't it, Andrew?
Yeah, it has. It's a shame. It's a shame, really, but you'll have to be nervous again.
Yeah, I mean it's an interesting point though, isn't it? Because obviously with any drone flight, and especially with the GVC flight test, you have to make sure that it's safe. You have to make sure that it's appropriate to fly the drone, and not only fly the drone, but of course we're flying for a flight assessment, so it needs to be the right conditions, etc., doesn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And these things happen. You know, it's the weather at the end of the day. We can't stop. We can't pause it. We have to wait for it to do its bit.
Exactly.
I remember on my first flight, it was cancelled because of the weather. I didn't even actually get to the scene. Because the forecast was so bad. So we have to expect that, and we're resilient enough, and we'll just go through it again.
We are resilient, exactly, which is, yeah, indeed. Okay, so we're going to start off by giving some merch away, and then what we're going to do is we're going to bring Emily DiCosmo in, who was going to commentate the live show and then do the drone news, but we're going to bring her in and do the drone news, and then we're going to have Kelly Shaw's joining us to have a chat with us about International Drone Day and all that good business. It would be great to see him. Obviously, him of Ready Set Drone fame, as I'm sure you all know. So we've still got lots coming up for you today, and then of course, as I said, there's the 6 o'clock live show, which is the barbecue Q&A, which will also now become the flight test one as well. Although it won't be a live flight test, but we will show you the full video, which will be. So I am still going to take it today. So to talk about my nerves going up and down today.
Roller coaster.
Bear in mind as well, of course, that I am fearful of flying, and I did fly here yesterday. So a big shout out to EasyJet for getting me here safely. It was actually surprisingly good. Actually, I was very calm, which I'm very happy about.
Good.
So and tonight at 9 we've got another show which is going to be reacting to viewer videos and lots more giveaways again, including a 4K drone. And we're going to be joined by Felix at Quadcopter Guide, and Ken Heron is popping in to say hello as well, which is very exciting. Really.
Excellent.
Yeah, it's kind of everyone to join us as well. So, without further ado, should we bring Emily in to say hello to her before we start the news? I think she's loitering. Are you loitering, Emily?
I am.
Yes.
I'm
How are
loitering
you?
in the kitchen.
Now, the
I'm
question
very well,
is,
thanks.
because we were going to put you on the spot a little bit, weren't you? We were going to have you commentate it, and well, I wouldn't be able to hear you whilst commentating. So you have to do the F1 thing where they stop talking when they hear noise from the team pits
Team
and that
radio
type of
comes
thing.
in.
Yeah, radio having to be on your feet. So we're not dropping you in the hot seat quite yet.
No, you're not. I was looking forward to you not hearing, because then I could have had a little bit of fun
Yeah, but
commentating with your nerves.
Now, unfortunately, now you haven't been with the channel very long, but already in the very short time that I've known you, that scares me a little bit, because you're not always the nicest person to me. Can I just say that?
Excuse me, I've been nothing but Sean, whilst you I even spoke to you at the airport. Give you that little bit of what do you call it? Support.
Dutch courage.
Dutch courage.
Yes.
After.
Get your words out, Emily. I don't know. Come on.
I know, it's been a long week.
Oh, it has. It's been a long couple of days as well, actually. This has been fun, which I know this is a setup that actually you're more used to than I am, because of course you're an actor. An actor. Am I saying that? Am I saying that correctly? Actor.
Yes, actor. I like, yeah.
and you had your own little drone experience yourself recently, didn't you? With one of your.
I did.
Yes. Well, you actually. Was the location your house? You were saying you're actually filming something at your house.
Yes. So on Tuesday we were filming at the house, and then we went to the film studio and we did some drone filming, and I got incredibly excited about it.
That's very cool, isn't it?
I have done drone filming before. I feel like now I've sort of been let into the world of drones, and I was like asking the camera guy all his questions. He's
Yes.
telling me about his drone, and
Yeah.
we did have a few little hairy moments, but all was good.
So basically, what you're saying, and I think Andrew will agree with me here, is that you were what is the worst possible thing in the world, which is someone new to drones that thinks they know everything. Is that what you're saying?
The new drone expert.
No, listen, I was very, I asked a lot of questions, but yes, I was shouting from the treetops actually about Geeksvana, and the camera guy was very interested. He may even be joining, he may be watching today.
Well, hello, camera guy, if you are watching, and yes, hey,
His name is Justin.
I thank you for
Justin.
for increasing our subscriber numbers. I really do appreciate it. So yes, so if you're just joining us, just to update, well, the live flight test, unfortunately, due to the Northern Irish weather, it sounds like I'm blaming Northern Ireland specifically there. But anyway, due to the weather, which is out of the control of Northern Ireland, it is raining heavily, so we just weren't able to put it up. But we do have some clear skies coming, so we are still going to be doing it. We're going to record it between the next two shows and play it out on the 6 o'clock show, which will be great fun. So I still get to see me cry. I promise you. Now we actually have one of our camera technicians very carefully meandering his way around, having adjusted some cameras, and he's the chap that's actually going to be filming it. So we can, Paul, you can confirm that it will be unedited, so tears and everything as if it was live. Correct. He's nodding. Yes. So he promises to capture it exactly how it should be.
Warts and all.
Warts and all, indeed. Well, yes, I have a few of those for certain. Okay, so let's do a very quick merch giveaway. So this is for some Drone Masterclass merch, a T-shirt similar to the one that Andrew's modelling at the moment. So who in the chat, first of all, you need to be able to go to dronemasterclass.co.uk, look in the FAQ section, and let me know what happens if you fail an examination or flight test. Now, I actually had that question in there in case I failed my GVC flight
Yep.
test, because it could have happened. There are many things that could have resulted in a fail. So the first person in the chat that lets us know what happens on the FAQ there on the Drone Masterclass website will win a T-shirt. And we've then also got a Geeksvana T-shirt, which in actual fact, yes, it will go to the same person. So whoever can bring that up, go to dronemasterclass.co.uk, FAQ section, what happens if I fail an exam or a flight test, and let us know. Chuck from Covaction Dronography has given his first guess, which is firing squad. So yeah, not quite actually.
Third attempt.
Yeah, third attempt for that one. I think it's
Give you a bit of leeway.
is the one which is happening. So we appreciate everybody's patience on that and waiting for the show to start 15 minutes later. We just wanted to give it a little bit more time, didn't we?
Yeah,
just
as
to
much
see
as
if
we
we
can,
could.
yeah.
Because
Yeah.
it was certainly going to be one of our highlights here. But it's the way it goes, isn't it?
Yeah.
We have to be safe.
It happens, yeah, and
has
that
to
could
be a
happen
safe
in a
thing.
real job. If you're doing a commercial job as a drone pilot,
Yeah.
you've got to rely on the weather, and that's
Yeah,
why you've
well.
got to put these leeways in, speak to the client, because
That's right.
as much as the forecast might say there's zero chance of rain,
Yes, exactly. And in actual fact, to show you on some of the forms that I was filling out, waiting for the camera to switch across. There you go. To show how quickly things can change and actually why it's so important to check multiple apps and everything else like that. I was looking at UAV forecast, Met Office, etc. And at the time that I did my initial assessment, there was actually only about a 30% chance of rain. By the time we were down there, etc., everything else like that had updated. Only an hour or two later, it was very much raining. It was 100% chance of rain for the next hour and a half at least, with some patches. And in fact, it was 2% cloud cover when I did my first. So it shows that even though you do your checklists pre-flight, back at base, as it were, before travelling to the site, it is important to reassess when you're there.
Yeah.
Obviously, you will know it's raining, but it is worth just having a look at the apps again, isn't it, basically, to see what's actually happening on site, which I think is very important. So,
yeah, definitely.
So we're now going to try something very new, which is where you get to find out why this lady, and poke you in the face. I poke you in the... Oh,
There's a slight. Do you want to go further into it?
you're going the wrong way. Poking you this side.
I am sorry. Do you know what? I still have to do this from your left and right.
You're so
Oh, yeah.
you're so unprofessional.
I
You
know.
didn't
I'm
go the right
sorry.
way. So we're going to look through a few news stories which have been happening. Obviously, we have our new weekly drone and tech news show, which we are on. Episode 2 was live last Sunday. So if you haven't watched that, go back after the show and check that out on the channel and watch last week's show. It was an exciting one. But we're going to do it live today. And Emily, I think you have our first story, which is about Otto Robotics.
I do indeed. So, Auto Robotics have announced a new smart controller. So, earlier this week, they released a short video on their YouTube channel showing a high-quality unit boasting some pretty impressive specifications, including a 7.9-inch screen, 2080 brightness, 4.5-hour charge, 8-mile transmission, multi-port output, and an 8-core processor. The smart controller is compatible with Autel's Evo 2 series, Evo 2 RTA, and Enterprise Bundle. And the pre-order price is available on their site at £1,199.
Wow. Well, that's an interesting piece of equipment, isn't it? I mean, obviously we're used to the DJI smart controller, and it's depending on who you talk to, it's certainly tried and tested. It's a reliable piece of kit. It's getting a little bit old now, isn't it? It's not quite, but it still works. It does the job.
Yeah, it does. And I like it, but unfortunately, the future proofing for it for some of the apps like Drone Deploy, that's a bit frustrating, and they're not. I don't. Whether it's DJI or whether it's Drone Deploy, you talk to some, you talk to the others, and they're different of opinion. But I think it's great not having to charge different things, and the brightness of the screen. I think it's perfect.
Yeah, the brightness of the screen is absolutely there for certain. And I mean, it's good to see Autel bringing something out for their drones, because obviously a lot of their Evo range is focused at the enterprise side of things. Even their, their base drone could be used quite easily for enterprise jobs, and certainly for work. But yeah, it's got some interesting specs, hasn't it? I mean, it's a 7.9 inch screen is nice. 2000 nits brightness is decent.
That is very good.
4.5 hour charge and 8 mile transmission.
Transmission range, yeah.
Yeah, it's interesting, isn't it?
Very interesting. Yeah, we'll have to test that, shall we?
Yeah, let's not. Now, I will actually have an Autel 2 very soon for us to test on the channel, and we're going to do a few videos to test out a few different parts of it. We won't be testing the 8 mile transmission range, although I'm not sure I don't think we're getting a smart controller actually, but it's interesting and it's good to see.
Yeah.
But I did wonder actually, because of OcuSync 3 or O3, Ocu 03, Sync 03, whatever they want to call it at DJI at the moment, I did wonder if we would see a smart controller 2.
Yes.
I think we probably will.
I think at some stage, yeah.
And perhaps they were waiting to see what Autel would do, and to hopefully leapfrog that. But anything that brings out a bit of competition is something nice. And that was almost. Do you know what, Emily? I feel almost professional, because that was almost the fact that I'm now talking about it was almost a professional segue, because our next story is all about some more competition for DJI as well, actually. So take it away, which is the new drone coming out.
It is, yes. So DJI could have some competition in the sub 250 gram drone market with the Xeno Mini Pro, which is beginning to appear on sites like Banggood for pre-order at around $430. The tiny drone, it boasts a lot of specs, but it will remain to be seen if Hubsan can deliver the spec as promised.
It's an interesting one actually, because this has caused a lot of excitement, and I've had a lot of contact from viewers talking to me about this drone. On paper it looks absolutely fantastic, and it will certainly raise the bar in terms of what DJI might have to do to combat it next. Yeah. My only quandary is that personally with Hubsan drones I haven't had the success factor that I've had with. Don't get me wrong, I am more than up for this drone being fantastic and knocking our socks off, and having the fantastic tracking and their own decent range. Because of course one of the advantages, if something says it can go 12 miles, one of the advantages of course that if you are up close and you are around buildings and that type of thing, then the signal strength is so strong that it's still going to work out, which is exciting. But it remains to be seen, because I've had to go on a few of the Hubsan drones previously, and they haven't quite got there. But other channel creators like Ron Brown is a big fan of theirs, and I'm more than willing. I am getting one, and I'm more than willing to give it every chance, because another sub 250 gram drone, I mean, that would be good for the market, wouldn't it?
Absolutely, yeah. At the minute there's only the Mini, so I think another one is very good. And like Emily said, are they going to live up to what they're claiming it can do? That would be interesting.
Yes, exactly. I don't know whether we actually have an answer to our prize. I will go back through. Oh, you can reset it. I can see Graham Full has put that, and Matt Preston before that. Okay, I think that might be Matt Preston, one of our channel members. But I will. I'm strangely drawn to Jim Bosart's one, which is you get spanked. Rude, isn't it? We had someone earlier saying firing squad, but yeah, getting spanked.
Well,
I think maybe not, but yes. So I think that was Matt Preston. El Smeghead, our senior moderator, you can confirm that to me in the chat. That would be wonderful. Thank you, sir. Yeah, I mean, this feels like for the next little period of time we might see a few more sub 250 releases. Yeah, there's obvious advantages both in the States, the fact that you don't have to register, and here you've only got to have an operator ID, and of course you can operate in built up areas and that type of thing. And it is, the Mini 2 is already becoming a go-to drone for so many flyers around the world. So it's so it is something which is exciting. But I really, really hope, I mean, if it has 50-60% of the spec that is promised, if that actually comes to fruition, then it'll be very exciting. So so we are actually sending Emily a drone very soon, a sub 250 gram, the Mini 1. We're going to be sending you.
I can't wait.
I know. I can't wait for the first drone flight videos. Yes, and then we'll have to get you on your drone courses and see how you like it.
Yeah.
see how you like it having drone courses
Yes,
done
so
live.
I would be very nervous. I'd be rescue remedy and all sorts.
Rescue remedy, yes. Do you know, I used to take that for my fear of flying, and it doesn't really work for me anymore. Yesterday I was on something a little stronger, but prescribed, I would say as well.
Isn't rescue remedy the drops?
Yeah, rescue remedy. You've got drops. They now do little lozenges and that type of thing. I think it was a bit of a placebo thing that. When I thought it was working, it was the old magic beans thing. If I believed in it, then it kind of worked. I'm not entirely sure. Perhaps that's more the fact that when I used to use it and it works, I was about 8 stone lighter. So I don't know about that, but yeah. Thanks for bringing the camera back onto me as I talk about my weight. Thanks, director. I appreciate that. Okay. Next up, we have our third story, which is an exciting one, which is all about firefighting drones. Emily.
Wow.
Yeah, now I found this very interesting and exciting because firefighting drones have been talked about for a while now, and this system showcases how a 25 kilogram drone
get it right
gets high pressure hoses up into high-rise fires to assist the crew on the ground and get to the spots quickly. So, Sean and Andrew, what are your thoughts?
I think it's pretty cool. And anything that can assist in, the whole side of things of firefighting and that type of thing, I think wonderful. This is a drones for good use, 100%. Yeah. I'm again slightly dubious from the point of view of how practical it is, and what I did like. I mean, this side of things, I'm not sure about whether or not the drone can really hold something that's going to give the right level of water pressure. I'm not entirely sure about that, if that makes sense. I like the idea of it being able to fire a hose into the window. I wonder how many takes that took. Yeah. Whether that was the first take where it took off and it has some kind of precision. There is actually an E-Hang version. You know the E-Hang drone taxi that you sit in? They've actually made a firefighting version of that. Okay. And that actually does essentially have 4 cannons attached to it. Right. And it shoots cylinders of expanding foam and that type of thing.
This what puts
through the
fire,
window, which in itself does something. So I think if those tests are a step towards what's going to happen, fantastic. Yeah. Anything that can help in firefighting a few stories up for obvious reasons with recent history would be amazing, frankly. So hopefully it will be something which is in practical use. But the E-Hang one to me looked more substantial just because it had the cannons and that type of thing that could actually, I really felt like that could do something. But I'm more than up for being proven wrong with those ones in particular.
I think the tragic story over Grenfell that we saw, and I've obviously spoken to police colleagues and firefighters who used drones at the time, but that was merely just to assess what was happening as opposed to put the fire out. They couldn't get the helicopter close enough because of the downwash.
That's right.
So they were able to report back to incident commanders where the people needed rescuing, and I think a lot of the fire services are developing now, especially looking at whether they can actually carry or deliver smoke hoods and things like that. Excellent. Rather than water and putting the fire out, can they deliver a smoke hood or something just to save lives?
Yeah, that's
which
that's
I think
superb.
is another way. But I think the water thing, I think it's going to be
difficult, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because there's so many factors in getting that hose exactly where you want it, when you want, because it has to be reliable. It can't be, okay, we didn't work, bring it back down and we'll land the drone and we'll reattach it and we'll go again, because otherwise you could have got up there with the ladder yourself. So, and interesting what you were saying about the different uses for the drones in those emergency situations. Of course, Notre Dame, when that burnt down, drones were actually given a lot of credit for actually saving that. I don't know if you saw that particular news story, Emily, but when the Notre Dame cathedral was burnt down, well, the main structure was saved, and the firefighters involved in that actually put that down to thermal drones being used. Right. And I think it was actually the Minister of Transport's personal drone. Which was a Mavic Enterprise thermal, and they used that, and they could identify the hotspots, which they did actually release that footage to the media as well. There's a very old video on Geeksvana showing that, and it actually helped save the main structure, which is incredible. And the firefighters did actually put part of that down to it. Of course, the firefighters did some of the work.
Well, yeah.
Probably sat there. Yeah. I phrased that completely wrong there, but yes, of course, it was a useful aid and tool in fighting that particular fire, which is really interesting. Now, Emily, you have a bit of an introduction for our fourth video, don't you?
Yes. Hang on, I think I do. I can always wing it. For some reason, I can't find it.
Let me do it. I have it in front of me. Now, as regular viewers will be aware, we're now looking for a new newsreader. No, Geeksvana brought you some exclusive footage of an augmented reality system which works with the DJI drones and their smart controllers, which is interesting. So obviously I have a smart controller in the news today. And the idea behind this system is actually it gives you Microsoft HoloLens, it actually gives you a 3D environment. So including using 3D mapping, it actually shows you where obstacles are and that type of thing. It shows you everything from your position to which way the drone's pointing. Doesn't sound very impressive yet, does it? There's lots of data that it brings up. And it basically helps with what they're hoping in Finland will be a step towards beyond visual line of sight safety. Yeah. For inspections and that type of thing, because of course one of the things I love about it is because it's HoloLens, you're not sort of closed in with goggles. Yeah. So you're still able to see out, and you have more situational awareness of what's around you, as well as obviously seeing everything that's going on with the drone. And there's even a little a picture from the drone camera itself as well, which
sprayed on there.
Yeah, which I think is quite interesting. And this has obviously been covered extensively because Stephen Sutton of the Flyby guys. Who's one of our co-hosts, he is their test pilot essentially, and he recently put out an updated video, just a short clip, to let us know what was happening with the DJI Air 2S and that particular product.
Hi everyone, we are here on location. We're actually filming the Anarchy Labs promo video for their product launch, which will be in a few weeks. And obviously yesterday we seen the release of the DJI Air 2S, which we just found out is compatible with the smart controller. So I want to find out if this will be part of Anarchy Labs roadmap. So if Hanno, can you come over here?
Sure.
So some of you will remember Hanno from our last videos. Just want to ask you, the DJI Air 2S was released yesterday, and it's compatible with the smart controller, which of course is part of the AR solution that you're working on.
Yep.
Will this be part of your roadmap?
Yeah, definitely. So we are aiming to support all the platforms that are compatible with the smart controller. So definitely will be on our roadmap along with all the others.
Fantastic. Well, there you go. So the DJI Air 2S, which was just released, will have the compatibility with the AR solution. So that gives it so much more perspective that you can use with it. So anyway, thank you Hanno, thank you everyone, have a good weekend and fly safe.
So I love that every video he ends with "fly safe," which is awesome. So, yes, he's becoming a bit of a regular on the drone news, isn't he?
Yeah.
Sorry, are you with us? Sorry, were you so engrossed in the video?
I was actually. Do you know what it was?
Sorry, you do get some stick, don't you? I'm sorry, you do get some stick. You're such a hard worker. You know, turn up live. You know, you're only 2 episodes of the drone news in. We're going to do it live, Emily. Oh, okay. And you're going to come in early, and you're going to commentate on my live flight. Oh, okay. You know, these terrible situations we keep asking you to get involved in, and then I still take the mickey out of you. It's terrible, isn't it?
You do, and do you know what? That was going to be my 30 minutes to get you back, whilst you couldn't hear me.
Well, there you go.
And that was my plan.
I'm sure you're going to get more opportunities to do horrible things on air. Yes. So that sounds really wrong.
I think we should.
That sounds really wrong. Right, but yes, so thank you very much for joining us, Emily. I really appreciate it. We're going to let you go now because I've got an awesome viewer story coming up, and then in a very short while we'll be joined by our next guest, Kelly Shores from Ready Set Drone. But thank you for joining us for the live news. I really appreciate it. It was exciting, even if you did get things wrong. But that's fine. Don't worry about it. It's not.
I was going to say. Can I just say, Sean? No, listen. Apologies. I was all organised. I had the little cue cards. Hang on. But look, it got to point 4, and I didn't print it. For some reason it didn't print, but then I found
Well,
it.
you're being very nice.
You're
You're being very nice. That's
Honest.
because when I was stood in the field and it was raining on me and we were having our last minute conflab, you said, I don't need to read out number 4, do I? And I said, no, you don't. So you're actually being quite nice, aren't you? You're being
Yes.
you're being very
I'm
professional
saying you're-
and you're trying to be nice
I'm
to me,
being-
which I really
yes, and
appreciate.
also, I appreciate that your nerves maybe getting a bit like this again. So
Me?
you know.
I have to say now everything gets scaled up when we were live streaming from my house, and my original studio was a triple wardrobe hollowed out with a drone light in the background, and I even used the shelf from the wardrobe as the desk for my original studio. And things obviously things went wrong, and I upgraded and that type of thing. And we go to the studio and things go wrong a little bit bigger. And now, of course, things go wrong even bigger because we're dependent on the weather and that type of thing. So it's I suppose it just gets bigger, and the problems get bigger too. But there we go. But thank you for being one of the solutions. I've been nice to you.
Well, listen, you are being nice, and I'm gonna grab that and run while I can. But I just want to say, Sean, good luck,
Thank you.
and I can't wait to see the video.
Yes, indeed. Yes. Do you know, I was hoping to have a cocktail in hand, and slowly getting myself into a stupor for the barbecue. But obviously, I'm going to have to stay
Yes.
compos mentis, ready for the flight assessment. So.
Yeah.
But there we go. So thank you very much for
Definitely.
joining us. I really appreciate it, and we'll see you next Sunday for the next weekly
Yeah.
news, and of course on the next live commercial drone show. Date to be confirmed.
Yes. Have a lovely bank holiday weekend, everyone.
And you, thank you.
See you, Emily.
Bye.
Okay, well, yes. So again, thank you everybody for joining us and bearing with us with the slight change to our program there. As I said, we will be bringing you we're bringing you the flight assessment recorded live. Of course, it's recorded live, Sean. Recorded live, but we'll be playing that out in the 6 o'clock show because it looks like, at least looking out the window,
Yeah, it's getting better.
it looks like it's brightening up, doesn't it? Which is pretty cool. So they don't give us many windows because they don't want us escaping during the show. I think that's what it is. Okay, so whilst we get ready to bring in our next guest, which is very exciting, I want to read out another viewer story. And this one's an interesting one because it's from someone that you all know. It's Andy Cortez, otherwise known as El Smeghead, who is our senior moderator. And Andy says, it was thanks to Ken Heron that he stopped procrastinating, big word, and just thought, sod it, lovely, and went out and bought a DJI Phantom 4 back in 2017 after years of playing with toy drones in the park. That sounds terrible. I was amazed by this drone and enjoyed flying it, but I was always flying alone and in the same park. I wanted to know if there were any other good places to fly legally and in my area and meet up with other local drone pilots to improve my knowledge. Sounds like it could be some kind of criminal conspiracy happening here, doesn't it? But, most of the Facebook groups were national groups, and I think we find that with the DJI groups, they're like international groups with 40 or 50,000 people in there. So he decided to set up his own local group for people in the West Midlands to share their favourite flying spots. He set up a Google Maps overlay and added pins showing good flying locations, uploaded the drone rules and most popular user manuals, and before he knew it, other local drone flyers were joining every single day. And that basically gave birth to the West Midlands Drone Club, which has been featured on the channel before, actually. And just before COVID, I was actually due to go and have a fly with them as well, actually, on one of their fly-ins. Yeah. But so some of the videos on their Facebook group and on the YouTube channel are fantastic. Literally just this long line of people are flying their drones. I always find it amazing. These groups manage to do it, but everything flying at once would send me into palpitations personally. Because at my flying club we have pits areas, and then we have 3 separate helipads, which you can fly in, but then we've got our boxes you have to stay in.
Segregated area, like segregated airspace.
Yeah, exactly. And in actual fact, we now have it that the drones can fly higher and then can actually come across the top of the others, which are the model helicopter ones. Right. So we even have a specific one for drones, which is quite handy.
Brilliant,
but yes, so yes, and now they have over 450 verified local members, which is incredible.
Yeah, it's brilliant.
Organising monthly meetups, which are live streamed from a drone, and even have our own merchandise, including stickers. For him, the hobby is about more than just flying a drone. It's about the community, the people in it. Apart from the odd numpty, you're all a great bunch. And that's a bit like the story we had earlier, where somebody through that kind of thing actually came to a situation where they started a small business, being on furlough, etc. And then this is actually how a community can actually be expanded on. And I am or was a member of that group on the Facebook group, and it's really good. And what I like about it, which I think we need more of in the hobby globally, is someone's able to ask a question and not get torn apart. So they're able to say, I'm thinking of doing this with my drone. What's the problem with that? Is it legal? Is it this? And rather than just, oh, don't you know the rules? You know, there's actually the rest of the group will jump in and have a chat with it, which I think is important, isn't it?
Yeah, I think what we spoke about earlier this morning about self-regulation of the hobbyists and keeping the hobbyists going and keeping it sort of free and less regulation for them. I think that's a great example of having a group where you're helping each other, and if you get the odd numpty, you can maybe have a bit of pressure on them from colleagues and peers to say, look,
I love that
an
word.
idiot, you're going to, what's that, which one?
Numpty. It's awesome, isn't it?
Yeah, it is. But it means what it says. It's what it says on the tin. But yeah, you put the pressure on them, and then hopefully you bring them back, and then you keep them and you keep the hobbyist going, as we discussed.
That's right. That's right.
It's really good.
And that community, as you say, they are self-regulating. They are helping each other and pushing each other up, etc. When new drones are out, they can chat to each other. I like the idea of putting the user manuals on there as well. Because you can, if someone does come and say, "Oh, what does this do?" That actually, you can download the manual over there and go and have a look at it. Because how are you with boxes when you unbox things? I am terrible. I keep every little tab and every. So I can actually if I ever get rid of it, I don't know why, because I never get rid of anything either. No. I can then rebox it. I once sold very cheaply an old Xbox to my butcher. Okay. And I had everything for it, and he was a bit freaked out when he was checking it, unboxing it. He was a little bit freaked out that it had all the original tape on it and everything. And he was like, "Did you ever actually unbox this?"
No, get it out of the box out of the way, and get it going, including the instruction manual. Get that out of the way and get flying.
Exactly. Always read the instruction manual there. It's always a good idea. So yeah, thanks Andy for that one. It's good to hear good feedback on what's happened out there. So I think I hear in my little ear we might have someone joining us. Hey, it's Kelly Shaw's from Ready Set Drone. How are you, sir?
Doing great. Wow, I see myself on your screen.
You're right here.
Yeah. And I'm up in the corner on my screen.
There you go. How are you, sir?
Pretty cool. Doing very well. I love your new set.
Yeah, this isn't actually my new set. This is very kindly. I've flown from Surrey over to Belfast, and one of our channel sponsors, Drone Masterclass, who we're in collaboration with today. This is their studio basically, and they're very kindly putting on a production thing here. I now know a little taster of how you feel on spin up and that sort of thing, because obviously it's very different, isn't it? Because obviously normally when we live stream, we have everything at our control. So if anything goes wrong, we can at least press a button and change something or tweak something. Whereas here, I don't even know what to do with my hands. I've been waving them around all day, which is a bit strange.
You know, throw them in the air and party like you just don't care.
Exactly. For regular viewers will know that we did the pre-show to the last spin up, and Kelly very kindly sent me a little DJI Tello drone. I was tempted to bring that with me, although I was already bringing one drone, so I didn't want to annoy airport security too much, because I wanted to see if I could make that the most travelled Tello, because of course it's already been all the way around to New Zealand, and it took, what was it, nearly 5 months to reach me.
Right.
I
sent it in September
the opposite way around the world
last year.
Yeah.
And it arrived in December. Is that right?
That's it. Yeah, we thought it was absolutely long lost. Frankly, it was absolutely incredible. So, and you're actually organising another spin up for later this year.
I am, and spin up 2021. I am very close. The thing is, everybody wants to know, when is it, where is it, when is it, where is it? I would say 99% chance it's going to be in Texas.
Okay.
That just, makes it easy for me to produce. But then as far as the date, I want to lock in a date with a venue before I actually tell everyone. Because I don't want to tell everyone and then say, oh, the contract fell through.
Yeah, no, indeed. But it's a really nice sign though. What I love about it, because there's also the other meets that have started happening down in Florida and that type of thing as well.
Yeah.
That Spin Up has started something in the drone community worldwide. Because I get people asking me, when are you doing Spin Up UK? When are you doing this? When are you doing that? And it's really started something in the hobby, and people seem to be engaging in the fact of wanting to meet up and fly. Obviously Ken Heron's Minefield event and that type of thing, and it's. It all started with Ready Set Drone, which is fantastic. So I'm hoping it'll be in person.
I guess that was one of the first big. I mean, there are things like Flight Fest and some other events that have been going on that were more RC related, so RC planes, things like that. But
because was the one the year before last? So you had one in a was it a baseball stadium or a football stadium?
That was the first one in 2018, baseball stadium. It was the Houston Astros. They won the World Series a couple of years ago and then got caught cheating, which is sad because I grew up in Houston and I was very proud.
Yeah.
But it was in their minor league stadium, which is the Round Rock Express. So that's the team that they use to farm and kind of grow players to go onto it.
Right. Yes. But it's a fantastic venue for it,
it was great.
I know you haven't confirmed anything yet, but have you got anything quite as exciting venue-wise that you're hoping to tie down for this year?
It's pretty cool. So yes, I can tell you the place that I'm looking at right now is a large sports center. They have indoor soccer fields or football fields, as you would call them, and also a big outdoor practice field that we can actually have access to, and it is right up next to a big open parcel of land. So lots of space to fly, and then also a big meeting room up on the second floor. So that meeting room would be, and the balcony overlooks the field where we could fly.
Oh, that's very cool.
And food trucks. Austin is very well known for food trucks. So they actually bring food trucks in once a week, and they can bring them in for our event.
Oh, that's amazing. That's a really good idea.
All covered.
Yeah. And are you thinking of sort of having it as part digital, part sort of live again? Or I know that's
yes.
I know it's a huge amount of work, but to have, if anybody hasn't seen it, okay, and live events like this one today won't get many views after the event, of course. We'll get a few people, but a month or two later,
it's usually the day of.
Yeah. This will be a more of a dead video on the channel. But if anybody hasn't watched it, you have to go back and watch Spin Up, and look out for the legend that is now Boozy Bob.
Boozy Bob, yes, he was. He was actually recently sent to live on a farm.
Oh, that's fantastic.
Boozy Bob was.
He deserves it.
So I moved offices last week.
Oh, wow.
And so I'm in a different space, smaller office space, but larger studio, which is exactly what I needed. And Boozy Bob was a leftover from a traffic safety.
Yes.
It was traffic safety video that we did, and he was actually, one of the things he was talking about was drinking and driving and how you shouldn't do it. So hence the name Boozy Bob.
And the irony of that, of course.
Live on a farm.
Yeah, the irony of that, of course, is that Ken Dono from Original Dobo, which again is another channel. If anybody doesn't follow him for some strange reason, you really should do. His hashtag is Stay Original for very good reason. Very, very well deserved. And actually, yes. So the sort of anti-drink driving campaign doll ended up being abused by a somewhat drunken Ken Dono.
He had a few Shiner Box at that point. Shiner Bock is the that's the sort of beer of choice in Austin.
Yeah, no, indeed. No, it was fantastic. So if anybody hasn't seen that part of it, I do recommend going back and watching the last Spin Up to catch the gold, to the point where it's actually now Boozy Bob as an emoji on there, but there we go.
And now I will say too, Sean, your pre-show was fantastic.
Thank you, sir.
You guys really, I know you spent a lot of time on that, and it really kind of helped build up the hype for the day and make people feel like they were anticipating something that was really special. So I appreciate you doing it.
Well, I wholeheartedly appreciate you allowing me to, frankly, because it was a great experience for a small channel to be able to do that, and I got to interact with some great people. All of your speakers, all of your guests were so helpful with providing their content and permission to play their content out and that type of thing. So I got to meet more people as well. And I love that about this niche. I'm not sure every YouTube niche is about that, is like that, but the way that you can approach, I mean, I saw Aldrin from Flight Path in the chats, and he's just put out a video where it was the 10 or 12 tips for drone flying, and he had people on there from, you know, the household names we know down to people with, you know, 40 or 50 subscribers. It was because of what they were saying, not because of the tag or the subscriber numbers they have behind them. And I love that about the drone niche YouTube community, that there's so many people that are willing to help you out. I mean, yourself included. I kind of see you as the godfather of the YouTube creators for the drone niche, because you're always bringing us all together to work together, which is fantastic.
Well, I appreciate that. And, you know, I'm old enough to be that, so I might as well own it.
Yeah, not trying to age you there. Okay, now just very quickly, I was due to actually have my live flight test just before you came on, which is one of the reasons why I'm still sober, because I still have to go and do that. Unfortunately, the Norrish weather, the Northern Irish weather was raining, so we've had to put that off. So I'm actually going to film that after this one and record it and play it out on the 6 o'clock show. But to celebrate the fact that I'm doing my GVC, which is effectively like the Part 107 now in the States, although here in the UK, you no longer have to have permission specifically to fly commercially. It's more based on risk assessment. So the GVC allows me to fly bigger aircraft in congested areas and that type of thing. Is that an okay way of describing it? Yeah. And Andrew here, but sorry, I haven't actually introduced you two properly, but Andrew Hamilton alongside me.
Hi, how you doing?
Yes, is one of the instructors at Drone Masterclass, and the former CAA Drone lead, and actually was the chap who set up the first UK drone police unit, specific drone police unit. So it's been fantastic having him along.
What is the drone of choice for drone police in the UK?
So basically the DJI Enterprise series, the 300 series, that's basically the main one because of the waterproof capabilities, so they can use it all weathers. And then they'll use the Mavic as well, the Mavic Enterprise, for portability really, so they can get them out in as many cars as possible. They are trying other drones and looking at it, but DJI does what it says on the tin for the police. That's what they, you know, and having the range of aircraft, so you're only using one platform, you're only using DJI. If you start using Autel and different makes and models, you've got to learn and all the different types of handsets and manufacturers of, you know, recommendations, etc. So it's a lot easier.
As you say, if it does the job, then
that's why they've used them.
Yeah, exactly. There's no reason to go.
The Mavic Enterprise, for its size and cost, is pretty amazing actually for the things you can do with it.
Yeah, exactly. And we don't have the current issues that obviously the some law enforcement agencies and federal agencies in the States have, where they can't use DJI at the moment. But so we don't have that holding us back.
Political issues.
Yeah, exactly. So we don't have that holding us back at the moment, which is obviously fantastic, because it's you know, when it comes down to that kind of use, it really is use what works and use what can save lives and be effective, frankly. So. But yes, but
the person that is being rescued from being lost in the forest doesn't care what type of drone you fly, right?
Yeah,
they
exactly.
just want to know that it worked.
Yeah.
Exactly, great point. But we're actually going to give away a GVC course right now, which is very exciting. Hey. So this is worth several £100s, and this could set you on the way to becoming a professional drone pilot yourselves. And it's going to be very, very simple on this one. So to celebrate it, we're going to give away this course, and this is going to be in the live chat as well. So again, I have the answer in front of me, so I'm trying not to read that out at the same time as I ask the question, which I'm finding a little bit difficult.
Say it.
Oh. Okay, now this is going back to CAP 722 again, which of course is a very, very important document for us all. I would like to know the name of the rule which is given to guide drone flyers to the correct separation in height versus distance from uninvolved people. Now, this is basically, we have had separation has been a big issue for us in the UK, Kelly, where previously, in fact, hobbyists couldn't actually fly their drones in congested areas, but now you can fly the Mavic Mini and other things like that. But they've actually brought out a guide which allows you to basically, in CAA's terms, it's guidance to keep a safe distance in terms of as you get closer. And there is actually a name for that rule. And if you look at CAP 722, it's section 2.1.3.1.1. Oh, there we are. Fish Diaries has already got it. The one-to-one rule.
One-to-one rule.
Yeah. Wow. So essentially, I've got a qualification already called the A2 CofC, and with a C2 drone, once we actually get those labels, so like a Mavic Air 2S, I can get within 5 meters of uninvolved people. But the 1-to-1 rule basically means that if I'm 5 meters away, I have to be 5 meters high. If I'm, within 30 meters, you have to be 30 meters up, that type of thing, to keep the safety zone as far as getting closer to people is concerned. But congratulations, Fish Diaries. If you could reach out to us at Sean@geeksvana.com, you'll be getting to know this man an awful lot better, because he is the course instructor which has the videos, etc.
Sean, what if Fish Diaries is not based in the UK?
I believe he actually is, which is good. And we did say earlier in the last show where we gave out one of the A2 CofC courses, which is the one just below the GVC, that you can still take it in the States, but obviously you'll have the fact that you've studied the course, but you won't be able to take the flight test, etc., and pass that. But we have had some other prizes. We've got lens pens prizes, we've got some bugs drones, and we've even got some Freewell were very kind to give us some ND filter sets as well to give away.
Nice.
So we have some other prizes to give, and we've been giving away awesome Geeksvana t-shirts too, and Drone Masterclass.
Yes, and they are awesome.
So yes, we're trying to have prizes for them all as well. So yes, and Fish Diaries has just confirmed in the chat that he is indeed in the UK. So congratulations with that as well.
Berkshire.
And in fact, the other Andrew, we have 2 Andrews that are with Drone Masterclass, has just confirmed in the chat. So he also gets the A2 CofC with that as well, because it's a combined course basically. So you'll actually end up being a very highly qualified drone pilot.
Excellent.
It's exciting, isn't it?
Yeah, just hope it doesn't rain.
Yeah, just hope it doesn't rain on the flight test day. That's all you have to do. But you don't have to fly to Belfast for your flight test, because there are locations across the UK where the flight test can happen, which is very, very exciting. So what have you got coming up on Ready Set Drone, Kelly? I've really been enjoying your Air 2S videos. I really enjoyed your FPV drone content, because that was really interesting to me, because of course you were a camera drone guy that sort of switched over to FPV, etc., and that type of thing. So you've definitely got a foot in both camps. So I really enjoyed that stuff. But what have you got coming up for us on Ready Set Drone?
Well, I'm working on a video for this guy right here. This is the GVC Cinelog 25.
Oh.
It's a very small little Cinewoop style drone that will carry a Insta360 Go or an Insta360 SMO or a naked GoPro.
Excellent.
So I'm doing a lot of flying with it. And then the one that I know I need to get out soon, because I think it's going to be popular, is a comparison between the Air 2S and the Mini 2.
Brilliant. Yes, that'll be a very good video to watch, actually, because it's there are so many Mini 2 owners that you read online in the chats, etc. that are, I've got the Mini 2, it does 4K, I'm okay, I don't need the Air 2S, and then they see a couple of specs and they see some raw photos and a bit of raw footage, and like, oh, actually that looks really good. And
need is kind of a strong.
Yeah. Indeed.
So that comparison will be coming out in the next 2 weeks. Is my plan. I always feel like I have to go back and reshoot a bunch of footage instead of reuse old footage for those videos, and that's why it takes me longer sometimes to do them.
Is that because of your day job?
The same way?
Well, I do. Although I'm very talking head studio based at the moment, and I'm getting out into the wild a bit more. In fact, I thought I had it beside me actually. I've just invested in for me a very expensive vlogging piece of kit with the Rode
the Go
Mic Pro Plus microphone and that type of thing, so I can get out and about a bit more as well, actually, and especially with the GVC. Should I pass my flight test, there's a lot more things I want to go out and do once I have my ops manual and my operational authorization approved. So yes.
You'll pass. You'll pass.
I hope so. But do you think that's actually your day job coming out in you? The fact that you're in video production, so you want things to look absolutely perfect?
Well, I don't know that it's perfect. There are people like yourself. I feel like you actually are more of a perfectionist about the visuals of a show than I am, because every single thumbnail you make is very engaging.
Thank you.
I don't always spend that time on some of those little details, but for me, it's just, I hate reusing footage, because I feel like if somebody's already watched the previous video, there's not as much value if they see the same shot done in 3 different videos.
No, exactly. No, I completely agree with you there.
It's just new content to me. I'd almost rather have new content that maybe isn't quite as good than reused old content. And that's just a weird
Yeah, indeed. I think I know some creators like Ash from Droning On actually has a bank of anything B-roll he does for any video. He puts it into a little bank of B-roll on one of his Google Drives, and then it has that as searchable. So then if he needs a Mini 2 flying inside, and so every video he's made, he's got this back catalogue that's grown and grown and grown. Of every kind of drone.
Makes it easier to make new videos.
Yeah, exactly, and he's able to pull out stuff that he hasn't used, but he filmed a year ago with, and that type of thing, and or reuse other stuff, but clip it differently and crop it differently, etc., which is exciting. But
Ash is way more organized than me.
Yeah, no, he's extremely organised, and his video content is fantastic. But yeah, I do think as well people like the chilled side of YouTube. If you look at things like Ken Heron's show, that's the technology behind that hasn't really moved forward the entire time he's going, and it's still by far one of the most popular live shows out there. And I think people like just chilling out with people like Ken, yourself. Sean Oz is another one that I think he can just turn on a camera and is very, very engaging, and people love just engaging and chatting with him rather than necessarily having to have any kind of sort of professional setup, etc. So, and I like that about the drone niche, that we're all very different creators coming at things from different angles, and perhaps giving different advice and different guidance to people that can help different types of drone flyers.
And I heard recently something that really helped me open my mind more about the type of content I'm making, and that was that even if your content, well, let me back up. So sometimes I struggle with the fact that if I'm doing, say, the Air 2S comparison to the Mini 2, I'll think, oh, somebody just did that. I can't do that now. But that's not really true, because everybody has their own take on things and their different styles. And so sometimes it's your style that appeals to certain people versus someone else's style. And so even if the content is similar, it's the way you present it that is important. So that's kind of helped me be less worried about the fact that, oh, I'm doing a video that somebody just did.
Absolutely, and I think as well, I think it was Gerald Undone that I heard say this on one of Ken Dono's live shows, and he was talking about as well, don't try to necessarily be first. There's always this panic that a new drone is out, get your unboxing up within 20 seconds of it being launched.
Yeah, right.
Which is sometimes a stress. But he was actually saying to take your time. He prefers to do like a complete sort of guided tour, and actually I've now been using this for a couple of weeks, and here are some of the problems and that type of thing. So a bit like Ken Dono did a video recently on a month later, or however long it's been, with the FPV drone, the DJI FPV drone. And perhaps that kind of content, once someone's had it for a while and is really able to give some of the pluses and minuses, is something which is useful, frankly. So yeah, as you say, there's space for all of us out there.
You taught me something too, and I just want to mention before I say this, I don't know if you have a producer who's doing the sound, but I'm getting myself on a delay back in my headset. If there's any way to do a mix minus for me, so I don't. It's like a second later I hear myself.
Yes, he will hear that now, and I'm sure I can hear things banging around in the background as he tries to change that. Sorry about that.
It's that's why I've been kind of a little bit weird on my talking, because I use the headphones on to hear you, but I hear an echo of myself.
Yes,
but the thing you taught me, Sean, is you told me once that your goal with your channel was not to grow to a zillion subscribers, although that's a nice thing to do. It's to go really deep in your relationship with your subscribers and to build a community of people that want to be there, that really know each other, and spend time with each other.
Exactly.
I think that is really cool. And that's made me change the way I've approached YouTube as well. Is sure, I have a lot of subscribers, but I'm not growing as fast as I wanted to, or as I was growing at one point. But I feel like I know everybody better now. I feel like people who are in the chat right now, I could look at the chat and say, okay, I've met and talked to and seen these people in so many different places, and watched their videos and watched their content. Yes. So to me, that's actually really that's really a cool thing.
Yeah, it is, and it is very important to me that the followers that we do get are engaged, and they're people that want to be here, rather than just rushing and saying, I want to. Of course, I want 100,000, but and it was actually a video I watched a while ago, just before I started the channel, which was somebody commenting on a book, actually. So it was a video about a book, but anyway, and it was about having 1,000 true fans. So rather than rushing to get 1 million subscribers or 10 million subscribers, have 1,000 true fans that are willing to, perhaps even invest and become a channel member. And hi to my channel members. I can see you all in the chat. Thank you so much for being here and helping directly support the channel.
Yes, I'm a channel member.
You are indeed, of course you are. Yes, thank you, sir. And I find that exciting. I find when I'm making content for the channel members, and I have them in mind every video that I make, because of course those are more of the people that I want to reach in a fresh audience point of view, so that I can bring more people in that want to have the kind of conversations we have. And that way, I find that I'm not trying to mimic, Flight Path. I'm not trying to mimic yourself, Ready Set Drone, or anything. I then start to become my own channel and its own voice, essentially, which is always hard to do. And whilst we're on a love fest, saying what we like about each other, one thing I have followed, which you do, is I try and get around as many live streams from smaller channels than myself as possible as well.
Yeah.
Because I really love the way that you're there for the rest of the creator community, and if an invite comes in, if you're free, you're always there, and it's fantastic. It made a big difference to me that first show that you came on when I was half the subscribers that I have now, and I've tried to continue to do that as well, and try and get around and appear on a few shows and that type of thing, and help other people and just build that community as well. So I appreciate that, sir.
I think having those...
Fly Sky Drone is asking, how do you become a channel member? I think there's a join button.
There is. If you're on, I think it's on
Sean's
Android,
page,
there's a join button below. There's also a link in the description which says if you'd like to become a member, click here for more info. And it gives you the different, you can join from $1.99 a month. I think the top is $8.99 a month, and you get different levels of things. Actually, while I mentioned that, I wasn't planning on talking about that today, but we've just started for the middle members, the Varna Army, which is I think $4.99 a month. We've just started a new monthly, which our first meeting is coming up, where we're actually going to be bringing in industry experts to talk about how to start and run drone businesses and how to grow drone businesses. So again, it'll be streams, and you'll also be able to come in on Zoom and actually talk to these people as well and get tips and tricks on how to evolve things. And the idea behind that is because here in the UK, you no longer have to have a specific permission to fly for commercial work like the 107, etc. So there's more people wanting to do things for money with their drone, basically. So yeah, we have some exciting stuff coming up.
And as a channel member, okay, I think the echo's been fixed. Thank you, whoever
wonderful.
did that. Appreciate it. As a channel member, I can say very, very honestly and from honest or from real experience that Sean does put out a lot of content for his channel members and a lot of offers and things like that. So more than I do, and I need to do more of that. Sometimes I look at what Sean's doing for channel members, and I'm like, yeah, I need to do more of that.
I really appreciate it. Thank you. In actual fact, my dream for the channel members is it becomes more of the channel than the channel does, if that makes sense. Because of course it's the audience that wants to hear more from you, and they're and because when people are paying even the smallest amount of money, I want to make sure they get value back. So, but I appreciate you saying that. I really do. So yes.
Yeah,
now,
you do a great job with it.
Also, can I just tell the production team? Could you double the check that we're writing to Kelly Shores, please? Double his fee, yes, thank you.
Yes, 0 times 2.
Yes, that's it. Well,
hey, look at that! Joe Blaylock just joined the Varna Army.
Oh, thank you, Joe. Who I think actually isn't Joe part of the flight crew as well on Ready Set Drone?
He is, yeah.
He is,
Joe's fantastic. And John Darcy.
And John Darcy, there you go. I'm going to have to put
Wow.
I'm going to have to put you on commission, Kelly. But yeah, I appreciate that.
Yes, I'm just going to sell for you.
Yeah, I really
That's
appreciate
awesome.
it. So thank you so much for joining us today. I really appreciate it. It's always great. You're the kind of guy that I can chat to for hours, and I look forward to one day opening a bottle of something with you in Texas and spending those hours having the chat. Perhaps we'll even live stream it to both our channel members.
I do think a European or UK based spin up would be something that could happen in the future.
Yeah.
Obviously, this last year was just insane for so many reasons, but the hope would be that we'll settle back down into normal. The other trick for me too is learning how to do an event like that in another city, because there's so many logistics that go on with going to the venue and making sure there's the right number of chairs and the food and the audio visual, all that stuff is there. So that's kind of why I've limited it to Texas so far. But at some point, if it becomes big enough, I could hire people to do that. So
exactly.
And so let's hope we can do it. Or even just an informal meetup.
Yeah, exactly. But it's so much work. I have so much respect for you with the spin up side of things because it's just so much work. I mean, I know what it takes to put on just a live show in my studio back in Surrey, and the implications of spin up and just the work that goes into it is absolutely mind blowing, frankly. And the sponsors that you bring into it and everything else like that, which is incredible. So yeah. So as I say,
Joe Blaylock is flexing on his new icon.
There you go.
Too. So that's awesome. Well, hey, Sean, no, I really appreciate you having me on. I always enjoy chatting with you as well, and definitely we'll keep you apprised. As a matter of fact, I should know by next Friday when I do my next First Friday live stream. I should have, if the venue that I'm talking to gets their act together and gets me the final pricing and everything, and it all works, I'll have that announcement. I'll talk to you first. We're talking about early November, just so you know.
Perfect for me.
Is the time frame?
Yeah.
Kind of. We have Thanksgiving in the U.S. in late November. I don't know if there's any holidays that you guys have.
Yeah, that's perfect for us.
It'd be after Halloween, but before Thanksgiving in the U.S. And so that's kind of the time frame I'm looking at right now.
And just before you go, actually, one other thing I meant to say to the audience was I missed it because I got to my hotel last night and completely passed out, which I'm very thankful for because I got lots of rest for today. But you had Ken Dono on last night, didn't you? On
I did, and neither of us were drinking.
Oh, really? You were both sober?
Yeah, totally sober. It was kind of boring.
I'm looking forward to the replay to see just how bad it got, but because there is one live stream which I'll leave everyone to try and find, where Kelly was a guest on Ken Dono's show, and Ken Dono actually ended up in a coconut bikini, very famously.
Well,
and you were in your toilet.
We had yes, we had quite a bit to drink that night. It was a good time though.
It got a little bit messy, exactly, but brilliant. But thank you very much for joining us, Kelly, and we'll see you again soon, sir.
Yes, thank you guys. Andrew, take care.
Thank you. Thanks very much. Thanks, Kelly.
Bye, guys.
Yes, yeah, absolutely fantastic. Sorry, I can chat for hours with Kelly.
I was letting you chat there.
Yeah, thank you.
I was trying, but I realised that nice guy.
Yeah, he's a great guy, and I do call him a godfather of the drone sort of niche community on YouTube, and he's very, very good at bringing people together, and from any background, any skill level as well. You know, whether you're a skilled FPV self builder, people like Doc Murdoch, hi Chris, if you're watching. And those type of people, all the way through to simple camera drone flyers like myself. And when I started out as a hobbyist with a Parrot Bebop, I still felt like I was welcome on Ready Set Drone, basically. So he's an absolutely fantastic guy. And well done again to Fish Diaries for winning your combined course. That's very, very exciting.
Look forward to meeting you.
Exactly. Mappers2, thank you very much for the $3 super chat. Really appreciate that. Great show, Geeksvana. And thanks to the new members as well. Thank you for Kelly for the plug on the memberships. That's always helpful. And El Snego with a £5. Good luck on the flight assessment, Sean, and thanks to all the new members. Exactly. Now, on the last show, we had a hashtag competition, and I did that little drawing a few minutes before coming on air, as we had everything going on. I did it off air. And Jez Clark is the one that won the FPV VR lens pen kit to help clean your goggles, etc. So congratulations. I will reply to your Insta. Was it an Insta or a tweet? It was a tweet. I will reply to your tweet with the details of how to claim that prize. So well done, sir. That was absolutely fantastic. And so yeah, just really a reminder that coming up next on Geeksvana on International Drone Day at 6 p.m. we have our barbecue.
Yay!
We get to relax a bit.
Well.
Hopefully we get to go out and fly now.
So will you get your chicken wings or will you get your drone wings?
Or both.
That's the question.
Or both.
So yeah.
So if I don't pass, am I not allowed wings in the barbecue? Is that?
You'll have them withdrawn. Yeah. You'll have your chicken wings only.
So now what do I want more? Now it's real motivation.
So one or the other.
You know, I like my chicken wings. That's for real. So we've got that coming up at 6 o'clock. And we're looking forward to that. We've got Ian in London joining us, which is going to be fantastic. He again, we were talking before with Kelly about different types of creator, and some that are quite polished and some that are a little bit more rough and ready. And Ian won't mind me saying that although he has just recently upgraded everything, he's got a fantastic new computer to edit on and everything, so his videos are really leaping forward, but he has a very relaxed style. So he'll be stood in his garden saying, here's the new drone, this is what it does, these are the settings you need, that type of thing. And actually they're really good videos. And he's got some fantastic ones on the UK Drone Rule series as well, which is very good. Now we have another prize to give just before we go as well. Prizes galore on Geeksvana today, and this is actually another lens pen bundle. This is the drone bundle. and this basically is a little pack which has some specialist carbon fibre tips, which are a bit smaller, so that they can get in on the Mavic series and that type of thing. And it comes in a little box, a little pack as well, which is very cool. Now, this is another one we're going to have to go to dronemasterclass.co.uk. So everyone get ready and get over there. And I would like to know what the postcode for Drone Masterclass is. Very simple one. That's the first person to put the postcode in there. Would be fantastic. And Kelly from Registered Drone has given us a $25 super chat. Thank you very much, sir. A tip for everyone who helped put this on behind the scenes. Well, I am in Northern Ireland, so $25 will go some way on the bar tab. But thank you very much. I really appreciate that, Kelly. And Joe Blaylock, one of our new members, thank you, sir. A $10 super chat. Great show, Sean. Thank you. I really appreciate that. So as I said, we've got that show coming up, and then at 9 p.m. we've got a show where we're reacting to some more viewer videos, which is going to be good fun.
I'm looking forward to that. That'll be really good.
We'll put the link live for the next show as we come off air here. And I'm just trying to see if we get. There we go.
Here we got postcode.
We have Metal Matt 2510, who's given us BT16 1QT, which is where I'm sat right now. So yes, there you go.
Perfect. Well done.
Well done to you. Again, if you could email me, Sean@geeksvana.com, we'll get that organised. We're actually sending those kits directly from the manufacturer as well, so they will go globally pretty quickly as well, which is fantastic. And thank you for LensPen for being part of the day-to-day International Drone Day. So we're very grateful to all of our sponsors. So there we go. So that's another show wrapped.
Great, really, really good.
I'm
Really
not crying.
Some
We
good
thought
talkers.
I might be crying by the end of this one, although I might be crying starting the next
We've
one.
just delayed it.
Yeah. So if it goes really badly, the 6 p.m. show might actually be Andrew Hamilton and Ian in London, with me in the corner crying.
Yeah.
So we'll have to wait and see that. But thank you everyone for joining us.
That
Thank
could
you,
be another
Andrew, for being
competition,
here.
yes or no?
No, I'm not tempting fate with that one. But thank you, Andrew, for being with us as well. And we'll see you next time at 6 p.m. The link will go live, so you can set your reminder very, very soon. Thanks, guys.
Thank you.
See you again soon.
Bye-bye.